System on, and we'll get started. I think you might just do the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Well, I had a couple jokes, and I left them on my desk, so I guess April Fool's passed, and I guess we won't tell. Okay. Well, roll call.
Mark Foltz.
Here.
Mark Frazier.
Here.
Francis Griffith.
Here.
Kelly Schmitz here. Troy Parmalee.
Here. Okay. Kelly finished the agenda this afternoon, so probably there's nothing more to add, I wouldn't think. Kelly? So we're good?
Motion for the agenda.
Mark, second?
Second.
Butch, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and we should have our typed minutes from March 2nd, which was March 2nd.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, okay. Check. Public comments once. Okay. Sheriff's report.
I never heard it. Did I get it?
Here. Here.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Never mind.
You got it.
136 incidents, which of them 44 or more traffic stops. Looks like the numbers are kind of ticking back up to where they used to be.
And BOL.
Be on the lookout.
Be on lookout, 16 be on lookouts. Grandma driving that car or something. All right, there we go. CISA.
Didn't do public comment.
You good?
We did. Check. CISA?
Not really anything much went on.
Okay.
We had that was really about it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. DDA, we of course met in January. We're going to meet again this month in April on the, help me Kelly, the 20th or 21st, Wednesday at 6:30. We're going to meet on the 20th, I believe.
20th.
20th, okay. Zoning, we did have some items come in on zoning. We've got one permit on the trailer park over there at Countryside, and some gentleman installing a sub-floor drainage system and on Beardsley Road, and three people that had junk and debris. So that's where we're at with that. John,
Oh,
you're on. You're on.
Well, I just got a lot of little things. We approved to put on the ballot, I believe it's for August, the MSU extension monies. Of course, they do a lot with 4-H, and so that most likely the voters have been very fond of that, so they'll probably approve that extension, so they'll be funded. We also, we've been working on bonding out our debt for our B4 pension. The Treasury got to us last week, so said everything was in order. They should hopefully approve it the first of next week. And then we would be in the position to sell bonds to retire the defined benefit B4 programs, B2, and all that. Since the first of the year, we've been like a 401k or a Roth or both, if you so desire. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to probably finance $40 million. If interest rates can stay down and they don't raise them too fast, that would be a big help for how much we'd have to borrow. But it looks like it's $40 million at this, and that would guarantee the funding for those retirees who have the defined benefit programs, those employees who have not retired. So
Is that 40 of the 50 million? Is that what I remember you said?
Yes,
yesterday? Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
We owe 50, but with the way we're doing it through the system, it's like 40. We have to pay 20. We're going to pay 20% into it. So we bond 40. We're going to put probably 3 to 4 million with it, and that'll guarantee in perpetuity those people who have their pensions in the pension program. Of course, if the world goes over the cliff and everything burns down or something, we're still on the hook for the county. But we hope that.
Maybe, John, we should buy Kroger's stock. You know, GM is down to 39 this morning, today, and Kroger's is 58. So maybe what we need to do,
Yes. Yeah.
So what this does is it retires it, but I mean, if MERS, if their investments don't come up with what they think, it's still liability, right?
Okay, once we sell the bonds, then we'll put that money out along with what we have with MERS, which is approximately 135. We'll put it out for bid. And there's lots of big-time investment portfolios that will guarantee you they'll guarantee you 5-6%. If you make more, great. But to break even on our deal where we wouldn't have to add money from the county funds at all, it's about a 5 to 5.5. Normal over a 10-year time period, conservatively 6.5, 6.8. Off and on over the last 30 years, sometimes it's depending on who your investment portfolio was with, it can be as high as 7.5, 7.6. We'll gain some equity, I believe, through the investment criteria. MERS is going to bid on our package. They've really changed their outlook on how to invest. They've brought in investment companies. Of course, 2 years ago, they changed their chairman of the board, so on and so forth. And I've gone to those seminars and listened to them. They're on the right track, but in 2018, they were minus 4.9. I mean, so your average has to be there. So
Could have stuck it in a mattress and gotten 0, so.
that's right. You should have heard my comments to those. I was actually the chairman of the board and the CEO. I said, "What are you doing?" So anyway, but we're not the only one that's done this. I think there's like 47 entities now in Michigan that have bonded their debt. So, and now once the bonds are sold, the old system is locked in only for those people in it. Also, there's no changes. You can't buy time or anything. It's done. There's, of course, the new system, so yeah, so on and so forth. But it's been quite a process, but it worked along and moved very well. We had a lot of good help from our elected officials, employees, the unions, all cooperated very well. We got it done. Any other questions on bonding? Okay, courthouse, today, this morning, with this COVID money that we have, there's certain things we can do and certain things we can't, but one of the things we can do, we could improve properties. So we had a company come in, they're well respected, they've done several courthouses, they do schools, they build big entities, and they did an assessment of the courthouse, and we told them new electric, new pipes, new water, new air conditioning, all the things that would go into a modern building, so on and so forth. The building was last renovated probably 70% in 1988 and 89. I was on the Board of Commissioners at that time and I participated in that. Another renovation took place like in the early 60s. But realistically, 88 to now is, 35 years, 36 years. A lot of our equipment, of course, when it breaks, you buy new and so on and so forth. But when we got all done, they gave us an estimate at today's prices. Today's prices are pretty high. Approximately $2.8 million for the renovation. And they said, I said to them, how much percentage more than what it was in 20 is a comparison? They said 30 to 35%. Okay, what does that mean? That means if we draw up our spec plans on what we need done in the whole building, all the air conditioning, heating, everything modernized and the whole works, and then put it out for bid, most likely at the end of this year, then hopefully the pricing comes down for next year. But what they did for us, they says, we believe this is a max of this year, if you wanted to do it tomorrow. But he said there's materials, contractors are squeezed, so even if you've picked a contractor now and you agreed on a price, they're gonna put caveats in there. The plumbing companies they work with, they have a 2-day fixed price. After 2 days,
2 days.
2 days. So, but what we want, and we're gonna bring it up at our board meeting here in April, we're gonna go ahead, I believe, we'll recommend that the Board of Commissioners go ahead and get the specs drawn up, get everything like we want it, and put it out for bids, probably at the end of this year. We probably have the bids in maybe by the 1st of March of next year. So we'll see where pricing goes. So that's kind of what we're doing now. Also, too, our veterans plans are coming right along. We should have that for our meetings in April. We had a team of look at that and what we need to do to that building. The building's really solid. It's got a new roof. It's already been wired for tech and those things, but it needs some sprucing up. It used to be a nursing home, and it looks like a nursing home inside, and so on and so forth. And also, what did the veterans, what did they want to do, where they want to do it? All those plans are being formulated. I think they're pretty much done. And then we'll put all that work out for bid and see where that comes in. Again, we're hoping that we'd love to have the veterans out of the 3rd story of the Surbeck building and into their new facility out there on Shiawassee Street or State Road towards 21, hopefully by November. That would be
So where would they be going to?
the old Griffin home out there.
Where's work release going?
Yes, work release has not operated now for quite some time. In anticipation of that, we talked to, the sheriff doesn't want to operate work release, and the court system doesn't want to operate. They'd rather do tether or put you out on bail. COVID had a lot to do with that, so on and so forth. So we're on the premise, and nothing's changed on that. So, yeah, the parole will still be in that building. State parole, officers, those kind of people will still stay in the front part of that.
And where's the funding coming from to do the veterans?
Veterans have 2 funds. They have the one fund.
The PA 214, and then we have the separate millage.
Yeah, the separate millage. They've saved their money. They have a $1.2 million surplus. And they would like to spend, their goal is, can we keep it under 225? And the Board of Commissioners indicated that, well, whatever you decide that you want to spend, we'll make sure that it's done right, and we'll pick up the difference. So at this time, we're not sure, but we're going to put a parking lot in. We're going to do a circle drive. We're going to try to do a canopy over the entrance, so if you pull up, you won't be in the rain. The back part, there's a building that we'll expand on for storage for them, and so on and so forth. The rooms need to be remodeled, I don't think extensively, but there's paint, just new floors, things like that. So
So
and
they're
new windows.
currently using general county monies to make up the difference, or?
It'll be ARPA monies.
Oh,
Yeah. Also, too, by December 31st, we have to have our plans solidified as to what we're going to spend the ARPA monies on. And so we're working diligently to try to spend $12 million. Yeah.
We'll take some of it.
I know, everybody will. I've been told that many times. Yes.
I just want to make
So is
sure
there
I keep
any
the bug in there.
plans to do anything about the jail with any of the money?
Yeah, that got discussed today, too. And the sheriff presently is going to run for state rep.
Correct.
So those
He is
discussions.
still sheriff, though. I mean,
Yes.
he's going to keep being sheriff
Yeah.
until he either wins or.
There's been a lot of discussion as to, do we build a whole new building and modify it, from the one that they wanted? Let me give you a little. Let's say that the remodel costs for the old courthouse and the updating and renovation, let's say that instead of 2.8, we spent $3 million. So today we asked these people who did the work for us, if we build a building with the floor space of this courthouse, what would it cost today's money? They said 15 million plus.
Ooh.
For a jail, we also asked them, what would that 36 million that they wanted a few years ago, or 34, 30, whatever it was going to be, what would it be? 50?
Oh, wow.
So now there's also the discussion that,
But could we put tenant into it and remodel it and?
well, that's
be
what I'm
good,
coming to.
You know,
We own property all the way to the back road and back of the jail. Is it a good idea to really look into making a new pod for cells? You know, all the activities of a jail, women's side, men's side, new kitchen, new function areas, and take most of the old jail and remodel it. You gotta remember, all the infrastructure's there. Power, water, sewer. The old jail was built in, I think it was 62, 63. It's old.
It's a very small kitchen too.
Yes, yeah, it's
Very
tiny.
cool.
Yeah,
but I mean, in
yes,
fairness, the voters have said no twice.
yes.
You know, so,
Yeah.
and they didn't say no by 5 votes either. So
Where we
it's,
start as
you know,
commissioners, we lay everything on the table. And then we say, you know, like that. One of the problems is, you're not supposed to renovate jails. But they've changed the rules so much. Now, we also have quite a savings in our tax delinquent fund. I think at the end of this year, it'll be 15 million. So, we have pots of money, but we're really into do a project, get it done, do a project, get it done, do a project. So, yeah.
So the rescue plan money can renovate the courthouse but not the jail?
At this present day. But remember, you couldn't use ARPA money for roads, but no, you can't.
Correct, we can't.
So,
See, we're under the 10 million threshold, so we just check a box and we can use it for any sort of
Right.
normal governmental program.
we have a feeling that that might go to 15 million.
It
Well,
might.
then we're good shape.
Close.
The federal government doesn't have the people to administer this.
No, they don't.
So that's why they've done this, because they just don't have the people to do it.
No, they don't. And a lot of entities are having a difficult time figuring out what to spend the money on. So, believe it or not. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'd say then,
You need help, let us know, Jim.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
Now, also this last set of meetings, we purchased a new server. Now, in the old days, you bought a Microsoft server, and a mic cost the county $3,000 or $5,000. Last a long time, 10, 12, 14 years. Then that server became 8,000, that server became 10,000, but the program every year kind of remained at $3,000 for, update. Well, there's the cloud now.
50.
Yeah.
I heard this last
Yeah,
night.
Microsoft sort of has a block on that business. So now that new server cost us $50,000, and the support per year is $50,000.
It's 100.
Yeah, we buy the server, and there's no guarantee that the support that's 50 this year will be 50 next year. They won't sign like a 3-year contract.
You're almost worth having your own IT person for that.
That's their recommendations, yes. Yeah, we use the intermediate school district.
We have a $600 server that's in a closet here, and
Yeah.
I'm the IT person. I mean,
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
annual support is nothing.
A huge component of this is security.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
well, sure.
And Jackie Carson, who heads up the IT for the intermediate school district in the county, really sharp gal, she said there's a continual hack against government, sheriff's department, courthouse. I mean, it's going on every day. Well,
Multiple times a day.
yeah, multiple times a day, to try to probe and find some. Well, the cloud, they figure, is the best security. There's also other things coming that'll lessen our security, but I won't talk about that tonight. Because of things that,
So is that something they're going to proceed with?
oh yeah, we will. We did it.
Oh, we already did.
Yeah, we already,
That's why we have filing cabinets.
yeah,
You got it.
yeah.
I'm biting on the one.
Yeah, I
We
know.
accept,
I have fire safe
we
too.
accept cash and checks here, you know.
Yeah. And then, of course, we're concerned about inflation. We're starting to see it when we purchase things. Vehicles. I mean, sheriff's department
If you can get them.
tries to buy 2 or 3 every
If
year.
you can get them, you know.
And even though that's net state pricing, you know, you buy it at a bid price, they keep going up. Or if you can't get them, or you get them. So, that's happening. We're a little worried about insurances,
Of what?
all those things. Also, we have our auditors here this week. So far, they've been really happy. Everything was ready for them, and so that should be completed here in a week to 10 days, the audit. And that's good. And we have a surplus. We anticipate a surplus from 21. We anticipate a surplus from 22, so. Yeah. I probably missed something. Did I miss?
No.
We talked, we
You did a
talked.
lot better this time.
Yeah, I made it short.
Practice yesterday.
I practiced. I wrote it down this time. So, anything else?
Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you.
Good, John. Okay, very
And
well.
I'm gonna take off. and
You're gonna go visit and tell her I said hi.
Yes, I'll tell her. Yeah.
Tell Pam that Troy said hi.
You didn't even tell her bye last night, and now you want to
Yes,
say
I
hi.
did. I did. I talked to her. I got a chance to talk to her.
Yeah. Okay.
Briefly. John had her by the short.
Library.
Mark.
Really, the only thing that
Library.
came up in the library meeting was they had to allot more money to the remodeling period because the sandstone brick that we were afraid of and dealing with the fire hall came apart and they had to rebuild that wall
Oh,
and
geez.
some things like that. So it's costing them more money, but they have the money so they can do it, so. Yeah, it's,
What's the estimated time of?
I still think it's pretty close
Oh, okay.
to the same as it was.
Is that it for our libraries? Yeah. I-69, Troy.
Meeting's next week.
Next Tuesday. You're gonna go to that?
I'm gonna go.
Oh, great, okay. Tuesday. SEDP, Mark.
There wasn't really a whole lot. The presenter for the program didn't come, so we didn't have that.
Okay.
We have, part of our recommendations when they did the assessment of SEDP and all that was that we needed to get standing committees for childcare and housing and workforce development. And that's all in the process. They've been meeting and,
Saw some emails on that.
yeah, there's some grant opportunities that using this new grant writer for to get into some of that stuff and so forth, so,
All right. And the planning commission.
no meeting.
No meet, okay. All right, Troy, back to Troy, finance report and pay the bills.
Okay, so you have your list in front of you. Now, this is the month, you kind of got like a double list, so you've got March through the 31st, and then you've got the first 2 days of April, just because our fiscal year ended March 31st.
Oh, yeah.
We did, last month, we approved to transfer money out at the end of the year. I transferred $90,000 out of the general fund to the road fund, so that's been done. The budget to date numbers, so that would be the final one for this past fiscal year. So those are the finalized numbers there. Does anybody have any questions?
No, pay the bills.
So this, we'll get the pension, that comes out in one chunk. And,
Yeah, we pay it all at the very beginning of the fiscal year.
okay, so that was that. Okay. I'll make a motion, we pay the bills.
I already did.
Oh, Mark's will make a motion that we pay the bills, and Butch is second. All in, roll call vote, Kelly.
Mark Foltz.
Yes.
Mark Frazier.
Yes.
Francis Griffith.
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Ray Farmer.
Yes.
I make a motion that Martin Folks has to wear his hearing
This is
aids.
my bad ear. I was talking to my cousin in Missouri, and Pat says, Bob's up in St. Louis getting loaner hearing aids. I said, why has he got loaner? Because the expensive ones cracked out. I said, well, that's why I don't have hearing aids. So how do you get loaner hearing aids, you know? Can you imagine that? Well, go ahead.
I'd make a motion, he wears a muzzle.
Thank you.
I want to know why he's using Angela's phone.
Oh, my God. Because it's cheaper that way.
Yes, because he can't afford one.
That's
So-
right, money's tight around the house. So let's see, financial report, pay the bills, correspondence. Last night we had our MTA meeting, and they passed out, I don't know if you can focus on that, it's called Household Hazardous Waste Collection in the city of Perry, Perry City Hall, and it's from 8 until noon on May 14th, Saturday, May 14th, Saturday from 8 till 12, 8 till 12 p. 8 till noon. So it's a lot of acceptable items, oil-based paints, wood preservatives, cleaning, pesticides, batteries, household batteries, oven cleaners, transmission fluid, antifreeze, no latex paint, and they don't want to use motor oil, no tires. And different spray cans, pressurized cans, metallic thermometers, and lead down in the shot and sinkers, he said. So anyway, that's available. And anything else, John? Anything else, Kelly?
Oh, I'm good.
So that was the correspondence that we had. Public comments, announcements?
Tom?
Can I make a
Hi, Tom.
public comment and
Yes,
announcement?
sir. Hi, Tom.
Just for the record, my name is Thomas Emery. You may know or may not know, I have filed to run for the 7th District County Commission seat. And I think this is, so I'll be running in the primary against John. And I think it's a good year for voters to have a chance to assess situation and have an alternative on the ballot. There are some zoning issues that have come to my attention that I have some concerns on that I think need to be looked at on the county level, especially for Perry Township. So in any event, I filed and I'll be made the announcement here. I'll be going over to Woodhull at their next meeting probably.
Okay.
And
They have exciting meetings over there, I'm told, so.
August 2nd.
I always thought these were pretty exciting.
Lots of time to go over there.
August 2nd, Kelly?
Yeah.
August 2nd is primary. Okay, Tom, thank you.
Oh, good luck to you. Yes.
And Tom has been around government agencies and state, and so he knows his way around town, so to speak. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Tom. Any unfinished business, Kelly? Okay, new business. We had our board of review. We met on the 15th and the 16th, 2 days. Last year we met 3 days, but 2 days. And the first day we basically had the veterans exemptions, which happened to be approximately 11 of them, and a couple widows and or widowers, and then the veterans were approved. They all had their VA letters from the government. The next day we concentrated on quite a few what they call split and combinations. I think we had 44 of them. We had 5 people come in. We had 5 citizens or residents come in to complain and give us some information. And we heard their comments, and we met right in here, and we had a table for them, and we were quite a ways away, and it went well. No problems. Everybody left happy, and well, happy as could be. You know. So that was that. Any questions on that? Kelly, the next is the Morris Independence Day celebration.
We received a letter from the board over there at Morris Homecoming Festival. They're asking for contribution for the fireworks for the June 25th, 2022 festival. In the past, we've done $2,000. They have a sponsorship, gold, blue, and red sponsorship. So I think they need to put a platinum on there,
Yeah, I do too.
but
Platinum.
whatever we wanna give towards the fireworks.
What do we usually give to them?
Well, we haven't done it in a couple of years, have we?
No,
Oh,
because
okay.
They haven't had it.
Oh, they haven't had it,
We
okay.
haven't had it, and then, what we had done previously, we had done 2,000 for them and 2,000 for Perry Fest. That's my understanding, Perry Fest is kind of in limbo.
Kinda right now, that's what I'm hearing, yeah. So we
I'm agreeable to whatever,
so we did two the last time we give? What's the board's pleasure?
Not anything.
None? Sorry.
Good the same,
Huh?
good the same.
You wanna make that into a motion, Butch?
Yep.
Butch made a motion to give two,
Second.
and Mark seconded that, okay. Kelly, let's have a vote on that.
Mark Frazier.
Yes.
Francis Griffin.
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Troy Parmalee.
Yes.
Mark Foltz.
Yes. Okay, that takes care of that. All right, Troy, budget adjustment.
Okay, really only had one. And this one's not really, I mean, it's money, but it's not, I don't want to say it's not real, but it's an unrealized gain. So we have in our cemetery perpetual care fund, we have some long-term funds that are in treasury bonds. Every year at the end of the fiscal year, they're coupon bonds, so they pay interest every year.
Okay.
So they have a value, because treasury bonds are traded that go up and down, opposite of what interest rates are doing. So we have to book an unrealized loss or gain on that even every year, even though we haven't sold them and we aren't losing anything, because they're guaranteed government bonds, we have to book the change in value. Whenever interest rates go up, the value of the treasury bonds go down. So they have dropped considerably here. So we need to make a budget adjustment of $5,000 there for an unrealized loss or gain.
And that's in the cemetery fund.
Every other fund looked okay. So, we were tight on several line items, but everything, from what I can see, looked okay, so.
We'll make a motion, we
Okay.
adjust the unrealized loss or gain fund.
All right, Mark's made the motion.
Second.
Butch seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Roll
Oops, that's
Yeah.
what
Roll call vote. Kelly?
Francis Griffin.
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Troy Parmalee.
Yes.
Mark Foltz.
Yes.
Mark Frazier.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, road projects. We know that the price of asphalt has skyrocketed. In fact, I heard this last week on the news. Late at night, they said they're expecting it to really go up in the next month or so. So I'm sure we have locked in our asphalt parking lot. Thank goodness we did, But Kelly and Troy, we've all talked at the last meeting about not doing any real asphalt paving this year.
What we talked about at our budget meeting was the gravel projects and the brine.
But I wanted to say, we are gonna look at Rayland Hills and Forest Green, putting letters out to the neighbors and see if they wanna meet on talking about their condition of their roads and whether they want us to look into possibly helping them with the road paving. They would have to, of course, come up with some funding, and then we would probably
Well,
front and then it
we
assessed.
would have to front it and then it would be assessed.
Assessed on their.
That's what's
taxes
been done before.
On their taxes each year. So that's why that's in there, because I want to know how much it was, so I had an intelligent number to tell them. But yes, the rest of it was based
Was all
on
the gravel
what we
projects.
talked about,
Right.
and their firm prices. Roos Road from Winnegar to Britton, Rupert Road from Lock Road to Braden, Lock Road from 52 to Mush Road. We got Bridger from Lovejoy to Braden, 18,000. Church Road from Roos Road to the Woodhall Township line, that's at Beardsley Road. That's the big one, 32,000, 1.8 miles. Braden from Bridger to Morris, 4,500, and then of course the mineral brine, and then the road commission gives us 35,000. So that's
That
our,
one comes out to like 107 when they're all totaled.
that's our project.
One
You
oh
don't
eight,
have a
720.
contingency gravel in here?
I don't think we do
We didn't.
this year. We ended up using the last one, didn't we, I think, but,
Yeah, no,
I
I
think
mean,
this is gonna
the
cover it.
gravel's held together okay coming out of us, but we never made a motion on these
No.
because we were waiting for the firm prices, so I would make a motion that we approve the gravel list on the road projects with the mineral well brine.
Okay, motion's been made,
Second.
seconded by Mark. Yes. Roll call vote, Kelly.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Troy Farmer,
Yes.
Mark Gold,
Yes.
Mark Frazier,
Yes.
Francis Griffin.
So do you think the DDA is gonna think about the increase in that one?
I haven't told anybody. We'll tell them yes.
But I mean,
yeah.
seriously, yeah, Mark, if we're gonna have meetings, I don't know that we can do all of those subdivisions, because see, we'll end up having to front the money, and then it comes back.
So,
I mean, I don't think we can do all three of them in the same year is where I'm going. It might be one or two of them at a time, so just keep that in mind.
one may be
Get it set
coming up
up
next
for
year,
this
or next year, And one of them, they may not want to do it either.
Right.
you know.
See, last time it was done Forest Green, Clifford Fields, or Rayland Hills. But I agree, when I drove through them, Rayland Hills is coming unglued. And it was the most recent one done, which
Yep.
is a little concerning.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't quite know why, but I mean, I would say it probably is the worst one and it's the newest one. So, but I mean, it's gonna be one of those things, yeah, you kind of organize a meeting and if they're interested, they're interested. If they're not, they're not. But I mean, it will probably only get more expensive as time goes on.
All right, so, okay. Kelly, you got a quote on some printing?
Yep, so with the redistricting of everything, we are required to send out redistricting for elections,
We have to send out new voter registration cards.
right,
Will we all get one?
yeah.
Okay.
You won't.
If you're a citizen,
Because of the redistricting, we have to send out the voter registration card, or the voter ID cards. So I contacted PSI, they're the printing company that we use. We use them
Yeah.
for our forms and ballots and all kinds of stuff. They gave me, I gave her an idea, about 3,300 people is the number of cards that we're gonna have to send out. And they gave me a price of $701.41. And then down, if you look under the postage, a normal postcard stamp is 40 cents. So they would be sending them out, first class, it would be almost 31 cents. So that total right there is about $711.21 if we use that 3,300 total. If I were to do it myself, it would probably cost well over $1,755.
How much?
$1,700.
Oh, wow.
We'd have to buy the cards and we'd have to pay the regular postage rate.
And
Sure,
the
sure.
time that it would take to do it, and the print cartridges that we would end up spending.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it would benefit me and Darlene if we were to send this out and have them printed and mailed out to the voters.
Well, I make a motion, we allow the clerk to
Proceed,
proceed with PSI for no more than $2,000.
Yeah, that's what I
not to
was.
exceed 2,000? Okay.
I second.
Okay, Mark, not to exceed 2,000. Bush second, okay, all in favor, roll call vote, Kelly.
Troy Farmer,
Spend the money. Yes.
Mark Foltz.
Yes.
Mark Frazier.
Yes.
Francis Griffin.
Yes.
Lee Schmidt, yes.
Okay. Okay, the floor we're looking at here. The floor we're looking at here is bad shape. How much did we spend? Several $100s trying to put down the loose tiles
$700. the last
$700
time, and it wasn't all of them.
about a month ago, and we're just, we rent it out all the time. We rent it out this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Anyway, Kelly's been doing some homework, and he's got 3 quotes on how much it would cost to take this floor up, to mill it, to get it where it's flat, put new tile, like this, but put new tile on, and take over, Kelly.
They want to float the floors to make sure they're all even. We had gotten 2 styles of tile quotes. There's a VCT, which is like a wood style planking system that's glued down. And then there's a, I'm sorry, that was LVT. And then the VCT is this style right here. So in front of you, there are 3 bids. The Thompson's floors, they don't, okay, so the LVT style, the wood decking, you don't wax. But you have to maintain it, you have to have it steam cleaned and that sort of thing. And Thompson's doesn't do that. We would have to hire somebody else to do that. The VCT for Thompson is this style floor, but they don't do any waxing. So we would have to hire somebody else to do that. So personally, I wouldn't consider that one. So then you've got elite coverings or elite coatings. The first bid for LVT, which is the wood style, was $24,872. They would float the floor, make it all even, you know, fix anything, repair the base, you know, put the base back up. It would be all the storage areas, the bar area, and the utility areas, down the hallways and in this main area. If we were to go with the VCT, this style, there'd be a savings of $2,764.
22,108.
Kelly, is there concern about the wood style floor easily gouged and whatever from chairs?
That was one of the things that I told all of these people. I said, you know, people don't really care when they rent the hall. So if a cat falls off a chair and they slide it across there, I don't want it to dig up and make holes.
And drop the tables.
A cat. I thought you said cats.
A cat.
And drop the tables on the floor.
And these other 2, Thompson's and Elite, were the ones that bid that floor. When I talked to Foster's Flooring, he said, I won't even bid that style. He said, because I get nothing but problems with it. It shrinks, it causes, you know, there's cracks, and they don't stand behind their product.
Well,
so I'm not even bidding it.
The VCT floors, I mean, we used it commercial all the time. It's proven to be durable, and it's proven to be pretty easy to maintain.
And that's one of the things that Foster said. He goes, you guys are used to this style of floor. Will you have to maintain it? Will you have to wax it? Yeah, but that's not a bad thing, because what the wax does is seals the cracks up, so junk doesn't get in there.
I mean, you can change the color if
Yes.
you want to do something different, but I don't think going to a wood style floor is a good idea.
No, I don't care.
We don't either.
And
But
so for that reason, Foster's did not even bid that style floor. He only bid the VCT tile. So the next thing, and one of the things that Foster's said, he goes, you don't have to have just a plain floor like you've got now. He said you can get 2 different colors and like 5 feet out from the wall have a dark color, and then have a, you know, make it look a little more stylish than just a flat floor. And I said, okay. In his bid, he also included 2 extra boxes of the tile. We continually had to buy, that's why the tile looks so different in here, because we ran out. I mean, we were having so many problems.
I think we have 3 different colors in front of me.
yes.
He got it as close as he could, but, you know, that's where we're at. So, I guess what you got.
This Foster's, I didn't see where it had in there. Does that include sealing it when he's done?
I don't think so. Neither one of them did.
Okay, what'd you call it?
Sealing the
But
shape.
Foster's is who we normally have do it, that's why.
Yeah.
When the bids come in, Kelly gave them to me, and I noticed that in the initial Foster, Thompson had 4,500 square feet, there was 42 square feet for Elite, and the Foster had 4,700 square feet. So I called Butch, and I said, Butch, we're going to have to measure this floor, so Butch was going to bring his tape measure. But after that, I called this out guy, and then he called us back, And he actually knew we wanted some spare tiles, so he actually put that in there. And so I said, well, I'm just telling you that I'm seeing 4,500 and 4,200. Why are you at 47? He looked at it over and he adjusted his down to 4,500. So we're saving $1,000 from the earlier quote.
How many square feet is it?
Well, it must be around 4,500.
I thought you
But you
measured
measured
it.
it.
Huh?
I thought you measured it.
Well, all three of them had different measurements.
All three of them measured.
But I thought you said you went and measured
Butch and I
it.
were
No.
going to measure. No,
Which
Butch and I-
asked me, and I said, I'd just forget it.
And I called up,
Yeah.
and the boss said that
I
she
said
thought
just-
everything was okay.
Yeah, 'cause we got this-
You want me to bring a tape?
A couple hours later, we got the adjusted quote, and I can live with that. And he explained to me, and I explained, because I didn't, because, the installation and everything was a couple hundred. So we dropped the price, saved $1,000, and so, anyway, that brought it within the ballpark of all three bids, really.
Did they use a laser or tape?
One
I
of
think they had a
them.
rotary wheel, I think,
Okay.
No, they use tapes.
or that tape.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's this room and the hall.
That's correct.
Kelly, who do you
It
want?
is the chair room, the utility room, the bar room, this
the bar,
hallway,
that's right.
that hallway, that utility room, and this room.
And-
All of
And
it.
the bathrooms?
No, just this tile.
Oh, okay.
Is the kitchen
Oh,
this?
it's different.
Yes, the kitchen
In the
too.
kitchen, okay.
Everything but the bathroom.
Everything non-carpeted in the bathrooms.
It'll probably never get any cheaper.
Which one do you want?
Personally, I would do Foster's flooring only because he knows what this floor is about, one. He knows what's underneath here. I feel like
He's
he.
local?
Oh, they're both local.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Perry.
No, he's the one that's maintained it. He's always done good by us. I mean, the reason we're doing this is because we look out here and we've got tile in this pump. And we fixed the bad ones, but I mean, somebody coughs on one and trips and falls. I mean, these are just gonna get worse, so. I mean, this would be ideal. We would use stimulus money for this.
If you, when you do call, why don't you just say that the board would like to know if you're gonna give us a deal on the sealer
Oh.
after you get it done.
Well,
You know,
one thing
just
that,
kinda-
one thing that he wouldn't have to do is strip. He wouldn't have to strip and burnish anything.
Because we didn't do that yet.
No, we did not.
We had him stop because there was so many loose tiles, we didn't want to put the money into waxing and sealing this if we're gonna cover it up.
Well, I make a motion, we go with Foster's Flooring for up to 25,000, is that what you wanted?
Sure.
Sure.
Not to exceed 25,000,
Yeah.
Mark, okay.
Second.
Butch will second that. Okay,
The targeted date is August.
when?
August, the same time that they're doing the parking
Oh,
lot.
okay.
We're all booked off for hall rentals in August. They're only gonna do half the parking lot at a time, so
That's right.
we
They
should
will
be
do
able to
that,
get in
yeah.
and out either side of the building.
Okay.
Well, if we approve it, I would tell him to start it right after the election.
Roll
I mean,
call.
that way we're
Yeah,
good.
roll call vote.
Yeah. Mark Foltz.
Yes.
Mark Frazier.
Yes.
Francis Griffin.
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Troy Carmel.
Am I gonna have to cancel the SESA meeting in August?
We'll see. Let's see what the schedule is.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
The other thing is.
I mean, you need just part of the room. you know.
Right, yeah, we don't need
Maybe,
it.
yeah.
The other thing is this one, this elite one, didn't have dumpster removal because we thought we could use our dumpster. I called Waste Management and they said, no, you can't use it. So Foster's already had that price had.
Well, that's a considerable price too,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
They're all very close, which
They are.
means,
We're within the ballpark.
depending, means that's what it is. I mean, when you get 3 bids that are within a few $100s, that's what the job is.
Well, I appreciate loyalty and
Well, and all three of these were quick,
Consistency,
good
so.
responses, very quick, they got right with them, so.
well, and we should have, if there's a problem down the road, we shouldn't have any problem working with them to get it
Right.
solved.
No.
He's a very particular person too.
Well, he understands, I mean, he's leveling the floor because he understands, I mean, there's cracks in this concrete. I mean, that's why we're having this issue, so.
Okay, sounds good. Check. Okay, You ready to talk again, Kelly?
Yep,
All right.
Daystar, the Daystar contract is expiring. We received a notice in the mail on that. I did call them and confirmed our speeds. That paper that is attached to the back says 100 Mbps, whatever that is. We're actually at 250 megabytes, is that what it says?
Megabits per second.
And we're at 10 right now. The increase would jump us to 250. Yeah.
One's download,
250
one's
and
download, the first
and
number's
15.
download, second number's upload.
Okay, and 15, that's the lowest option, and it increases by $10, so
So
$60 a month.
$60 instead of 50?
Yeah, I asked him if we could get a 3-year contract again, and he said, yeah, we can write it for 3 years, so
good.
Make a
So-
motion, we approve
Troy?
So this is going up how much?
$10
$10.
a month.
Troy, make a motion?
Make a motion that we approve a new 3-year contract with Daystar for $60 a month.
Okay, seconded by Mark.
Given the price of everything else, I think taking a $10 a month increase looks like a deal.
It is.
It is a deal, isn't it, huh?
Yeah,
Okay, so Mark Frazier seconded, roll call is Mark Frazier,
yes.
Francis Griffith,
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes, Troy Parmalee?
Yes.
Mark Foltz?
Yes.
Anything not TDS is in my wheelhouse anyway.
Can you respond to him on the email, or do you?
Yep, I have to call him.
Okay, Kelly. All right, with that one, we're going to go to Kelly again.
Colin Berry.
So you should have a fairly thick packet, and this is more of an informational get-together here with the cemetery deeds.
Yep, so I had talked to, well, Mike was out doing a burial, and the vault guys, which is from Wilbert, this Wilbert Memorials Granite Choices, that company, which is this one here.
Yeah.
They were out and they had mentioned that, about columbarians, and Mike sent them down here. And we talked about that. This Nelson granite was just like a cold stop. He just drove by the cemetery and, you know, and Mike happened to be out there and he sent them down here, so we looked at, he had one on the back of his truck and we looked at that one. So the differences between the two,
Driving around with the cemetery vault and stopping around selling it.
Big old truck, you know?
so Wilbert has a different opening and closing style. That style is like a suction cup type opening and closing style, where the Nelson granite has the rosettes that uses a
Oh, you
wrench
screw 'em out.
key, yeah, to open and close those. I had them price out the 48-inch, or the 48 Nietzsche columbarians, and let me see if I can do that. So Wilbert, their cost for the 48 Nietzsche one was about $19,000. And the Nelson one, I think was about 17, if I had it right.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Can you get some names of some cemeteries that
I have them.
have them, particularly the one that uses the suction cup? And it'd be really nice if we could talk to somebody that's had it for 15 years or more, to see if there's any issues with it sliding out using the suction cup, or if it jams up or anything.
Yeah. I was a little concerned about the suction cup thing. And he said, well,
The salesman, of course, says, well, things can go wrong with the other one too, you
Yeah.
know.
Which one's a suction cup?
the Wilbert one.
Okay.
He actually gave me a PowerPoint. This is what it looks like.
So,
The other thing on the Wilbert one is the markings for burials is actually engraved, where the Nelson granite one, you can get bronze
Plates.
plates. Yep, to put on.
Yeah, okay.
So it's just something to think about. We kind of thought maybe one of the things that we can use that money for is cemeteries. We've run out of space in our veteran circle. We've got some pretty old raggedy looking shrubs right next to the flagpole. We thought if we took those out and put two really nice columbariums next to those, that would add, gosh,
96.
180, 96 times 2,
Times two.
because it's
Couple
front and
hundred.
back.
Yeah,
Oh, so a 48 niche, each niche takes 2.
You
yeah.
can
Right,
take 2.
right, gotcha.
So you could put a husband and wife in one niche.
I would suggest as we move forward with this, that whatever tools and so forth it takes to open these, that you buy 2 sets, and you buy 2 separate little toolboxes, and one stays here, so that down the road, we don't have a problem and have to try to, in a big hurry, get a hold of somebody to get something to.
So what do people do, Kelly, for when they go in it? I mean, do they buy a little plaque just like they would buy a headstone, or?
Well, with Nelson, you would order it through them. They actually have them drilled out, I think. They can be drilled out, so,
So, I mean, that wouldn't be any different than somebody buying a headstone.
right.
The Holly Veteran Cemetery
Yes.
uses a system similar to this.
Uh-huh.
So you might want to call them, because they do this stuff all day long.
Because of the military.
So our thought was, I mean, our veteran circle is largely full. Now, we've designated the area straight behind it for veterans burials too. I mean, the veteran circle is full, but I mean, it's not the same, I guess. So our thought was, you know, if we put these kind of on either side of the flagpole, it gives an option. If you're being cremated and want to be in the veteran circle, this is an option.
Sure.
For veterans, we give the plot away anyway, so using federal stimulus money for support of veterans things seems like a really good use of the money, you know, because it's kind of coming full circle there. And
The other nice thing about these columbariums is on the sides, you can put plaques as memorials.
Memorial,
Yeah,
right.
so if family lives here and they want to memorialize a soldier that's maybe buried somewhere else, they can put a plaque here
Oh, that's good.
on the
yeah.
side.
So Callie, Ontario, Michigan, is Nelson located roughly?
Okay, so Nelson Granite is Canadian.
Okay.
Wilbur gets their stuff out of China.
What?
China.
Well, where's their offices?
Kalamazoo.
Out of the back of their truck?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Kalamazoo area.
Oh, Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kalamazoo.
if you do some more research, that would be cool.
And then
Battle Creek.
they say Ontario and Michigan, so do they have a Michigan home, Nelson? Or they don't know?
I
Not sure.
let me see.
I didn't check.
I don't think so.
that guy covers Ontario and
In
Michigan.
Michigan, they talk
He's
about,
the salesman for Ontario and Michigan.
they have a yard in Georgia, GA, Georgia, but I just wondered.
Yeah, no, I think it's Ontario is their home.
Okay. And he's located in southern Ontario, okay.
Yeah, and the Nelson one was, the columbarium itself was 14,880.
Yes, it's less expensive. I mean, they've got a number in there for the foundation. Could we have Mike do both of those and end up being less? Possibly. You know, you never know.
Well, the thing is, you know, people will be probably saving some money because they're not having to buy a foundation. They won't, you know, the opening and closing may not be as expensive, or it could be, who knows?
Oh, it can be done in the wintertime too easily.
Sure.
Absolutely.
We would probably have to, you know, make rules on the urns that are put in there. They have to be a certain size because these niches are 12 inch by 12 inch by 12 inch. You know, so.
Correct. If you have an urn that won't fit, you have an urn that won't fit. I mean,
Might not hurt to talk to some funeral home people too and see what their experiences with these are.
Yeah, if you want to look at these books, you know, this Wilbur guy, he went out to the cemetery and he
Yeah.
kind of looked around too, and he said, you know, the space between the schoolhouse and we've got a memorial a great big memorial there. He said that would be a great place to have like a scatter garden or something like that, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that,
Something else.
but he said, he goes, you could have a nice columbarium there, and put a couple benches out there or whatever too. So that was just a
Could always
suggestion.
add them later.
Yeah, that was a suggestion.
Well, something to
Well,
think
he'd
about.
love to sell us half a dozen of them.
Oh, I'm
so.
sure. But he was given, he was given some really good ideas and,
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, I just think we need to make sure that we're not, because we're buying this for a heck of a long time. So
Yes,
we,
well, sure.
long after any of us are gonna be here making a decision, so
So we'll get those answers and then,
we wanna make sure that we're,
there's lots of different kinds of these columbariums. There's some that are just basically a drop hole. And, the ashes get
Put it in a
dropped in.
mailbox.
They get dropped in a little bag and in this columbarium, and they're there forever. And then you memorialize the outside of the columbarium. So there's lots of different things.
I think an option for the Veterans Circle and, using federal stimulus money for, federal veterans burial area, I think is a good use of it.
Yeah.
okay.
It would definitely cost more because of, we would have a 4-foot deep foundation for that.
It's no, if you figured it out, what they cost per thing, it's no more than what it costs to buy, maintain, and mow the grass every week for the rest of forever down there, so
Right,
it's no difference.
So, anyway.
As long as you're gonna do something for the veterans, they got some new chemicals out for spraying,
Cleaning.
for cleaning.
we bought some a couple of years ago from a place in Kalamazoo, and you just spray the headstone, and the rain
And the-
washes all
That's
the
all you
junk
gotta do,
off.
the rain will wash it off and
Yep,
everything.
works really
It's
good.
not that expensive.
Mhm.
I think we should get a few gallons and
Check it out.
I can get
I've
the
already
name of
checked
what we
it out.
bought from Patty.
I
She's
used
got
it on some, my uncle's
Yeah,
stones
works good.
that were really bad, you couldn't even start to read them.
Clean it right
It
up.
doesn't cost that much.
Okay. Public comments again, going once.
Where did,
Going?
you mentioned one time the lights going west,
Yes,
where is that at?
the bid was so high that we're looking at why it's so high. And I made a phone call and.
And since then, it's gone up more.
He hasn't got back with me, other than, I don't know why, and so that's the answer I've got so far. So, we're gonna look at,
The price had sticker shock on it.
over twice as much as what we did going the east side, and so, although Troy and I talked about the fact that we know that they direct buried the cable, when they quoted it direct burial, the consumers had to run a line and then put it in a conduit, so we know that it cost them.
They underbid the other side and,
Now they're
So-
making up for it?
Well, we don't know.
correct.
We
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, the DDA didn't proceed on it.
No,
so.
it's
And the city-
under review.
And the city thought it was too much for the parts in the city limits, so.
They want to write a grant on it, the city of Perry, and they hired a grant writer, and one of the jobs that grant writer is going to write a grant supposedly, so that's what.
And then the planning commission went along, but when they read the letter from Perry for Slocum, it said that Perry wanted a key lock on the gate on Winiger Road, and they didn't go along with that. But I think that we never talked about. The only key gating we talked about was on 52.
We just wanted no public access from Winter.
Right. And they thought that it was
Yeah,
a
when
key.
we talked about it here, we didn't talk about a key.
No, no,
Lock.
but they did there, but they denied the key gate on Winiger Road. It just has to be locked and be used for emergency
Sure, entrance.
entrances.
I think on the map, doesn't it say key gate or
It's
something?
keyed on 52.
52, but not.
52's
The
got.
only thing we talked about was the gate far enough off the road that a
It's
trailer
not a
wasn't in
traffic
the road.
backup, correct.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, it's even better if it's locked. I mean, that would
Yeah.
for sure, the only
Yeah, so
person that.
Winiger, the gate on Winiger Road.
It's
there
for
will
emergency
be
exit
heavy,
only.
had
Construction.
A padlock.
Most of it's designed for.
And then we had a doozy last month. In 2018, up in New Haven Township, the property request was asked and it was denied. It had 46 acres non-buildable. It was all sent out. January, the dad of the boy that came in applied for a building permit. Okay. He got the building permit. Well, 29 days later, they realized that it's a non-buildable. So they call him up and they tell him to stop. Well, then he applies for a variance. And they come in and they claim he invested $130,000 for the house and $25,000 for the dirt work and $2,400 for the building permits. Okay, but before that, at 5 minutes to 7, the zoning board of appeals, they got this letter from Pete that it was confidential, and it was Boggs and the county attorney telling us that we had to look at this and vote, pass this variance, because the county was in jeopardy of being sued for $130,000. So then after the meeting, Pete comes around and picks all of them up. So it passed 3-2, but now New Haven is gonna appeal it.
So the county attorney gave the zoning board of appeals a letter saying you have to approve this variance.
Right. He said we had to really look at it because we were putting the county in jeopardy of being sued for $130,000. But then he compared it to one downstate where they had given somebody a building permit and he built a commercial dog kennel. He ran the business for 9 months. Well, then they realized that wasn't in their ordinance in that area, and they tried to shut him down.
Well, once you've issued somebody a permit, it's hard to stop it.
Yeah,
The time to have stopped that was to have not issued them a building permit.
right.
Um,
So,
Seems like whoever, well, I mean, the county or Pete, since he is a contractor,
Right.
somebody's insurance would have been liable for that,
Right.
because that's an error of the mission, they shouldn't have granted it.
yeah,
But the attorney, I suppose no one has a copy of this letter, right?
not anymore.
Meaning,
I would have kept mine.
And some of the, well, I said, he said, no,
It's not confidential, it's a public document.
yeah.
It's a public meeting.
It's a public meeting, it's a public document, everything is public.
Well,
And that letter is not in the minutes,
really?
no. So,
I suppose unless they considered it an attorney-client communication letter, that could be the one.
you know, my
But,
feelings right now is, I'm not gonna, to me, the minutes are incomplete.
So is the guy happy?
Well, I imagine, but,
I'm
you
just
know, he
asking.
still can't do nothing until 5 days after we approve the minutes.
Oh, okay, so they're waiting for that.
Yeah,
the point was, this was an A1 issue, and A1 is very restrictive zoning. We have A1 in the southern part of this township, and there's been shenanigans played over the years. That's why I administer our land divisions now. And, I mean, people have tried to play games on that for years where they start something. This one is more unique because the county gave them a permit. Once the county gave them a permit, what we've had over the years is people coming on, 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon and start doing work without a permit, then go get a permit Monday and say, oh gosh, we've already started, we've invested this money, and,
Here we go.
they've never made them do anything. But,
well, there's a barn down in the corner of Twitter and 52 that they never got a permit.
but nonetheless, I would say somebody there messed up in giving a permit. I mean, they shouldn't have granted a zoning permit for that building.
And it took 29 days to realize that it was a non-buildable lot. I just have a hard time because, Pete really talked hard back in 2018 to get them variances passed. when they wanted the 2.5 acres off the 46. And so I just wonder how much of this was actually an accident, and then we'll use the variance to cover it up. But Mike's no longer there. Last Friday was his last day.
Michael?
No, it's not.
Okay,
So
okay.
Pete will have to
I was at that
do
meeting,
the word.
I was at both those meetings.
Okay,
The issue about the attorney letter, I mean, it struck me as being unusual. Usually, the attorney-client privilege is if you're in litigation, so the governmental agency isn't required to disclose their strategy and so on. But this was a letter, an assertion made in that letter that related directly to the decision, and the Open Meetings Act is designed to be fully transparent about the decisions that are made.
right.
And so I really question whether that determination, and I heard Pete talk about it, that I really question whether that was a proper thing to do. With respect to Slocum's, and one of my neighbors was there objecting to, I mean, she lives right across from where they're putting that driveway in.
Right.
She said they moved out here thinking, oh, wonderful an area it was, not knowing that that corner had been spot zoned.
And they've been here in our meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but the point is that spot zoning is illegal, and I mean, it's blatant.
Well, this board voted to deny it. so-
I saw your letter. In fact,
Yeah, I
I had
gave you that.
a conversation with you that resulted in two things. Number one, my concern, because I didn't get a notice when they first did that rezoning.
I thought you'd have been within the radius of it.
I would have thought I was too. I don't recall seeing anything on it, but in any event, they went ahead and approved it. They did kind of take into account the township's comments, but they pick and chose the ones they liked, and if they didn't like it, they...
I mean, the problem was the ship sailed once it got rezoned. I mean, could we have denied the special use permit? Sure, but I mean, you don't have a real grounds to deny it. Once it was rezoned, it kind of meets the criteria for it. I mean, the horse was out of the barn when it got rezoned, which is why our planning commission recommended denial. When we had the hearing here, we recommended denial. County Planning Commission was split on how they voted. And then, that letter I gave to you, I thought that letter laid out everything what we discussed as a board on why, and they just said, nope, we're gonna rezone it. I mean, there was no,
And our whole basis was the spot zoning. That was.
and I thought we laid it out, we didn't just say, nah, we don't want it. We laid out the specific reasons why this is a problem, and they just said, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. Now, hopefully there are some changes that come in at the county level, we can hope. I mean, I really don't want to have to do our own zoning down here. I mean, this would be a lot of work for us and stuff, but I mean, if this continues, that's what we'll have to do, but hopefully there's going to be some new changes in administration at the county level. And, but I mean, to answer this situation, once they gave them, then whoever reviewed that for the zoning permit screwed up.
Right.
And whether that was Mike, whether that was Linda, Ruth, Pete, I don't know who did it, they screwed up.
Well, when I asked Mike, I said, how do you handle this? I said, somebody walks in with a check, they want a building permit. Do they get the building permit, then the paperwork goes back and checked? He said, oh no, the paperwork has gone over and approved before they get the permit. I said, so then the whole office screwed up.
Whoever did the zoning review messed up.
Yeah.
Pete's argument was that they're overworked.
Overworked.
That's
And that
not,
overworked, and that documents were hidden away someplace, not hidden away, but stored someplace, and they couldn't readily find
I
them.
mean, I don't know what the details of Pete's contract is with the county. I would guess it says Pete gets held harmless in these sorts of situations. If I was Pete and wrote the contract, that's what it would have said. But I mean, somebody has errors and omissions insurance for that exact purpose. Because, I mean, they made a mistake.
And the lawyer would have cleaned up, there's no doubt that the lawyer would have.
But the lawyer strong-arming the ZBA is a problem.
Yeah.
Because that means
That's what bothers-
the ZBA is supposed to act independently to review ordinance changes, and they are supposed to be unique circumstances reviewed individually. When you have when you have the county's council interfering, I think that's a problem.
Well, when last night the commissioners were all there, and I said, it's hard to go in to the ZBA meeting and sit there, and you have the property owner that you have to look the situation over, and then you gotta go against the county, against their own ordinance. I said, because Pete's pushing for every variance, and,
Well, if you're approving every variance, you should amend the ordinance. then.
yeah,
You know,
right.
you shouldn't be approving more than about a quarter of
No,
variances.
that's what I.
Or you have a problem with the ordinance.
You know, and the other night, the hardship, I said, the hardship was when the guy went in and asked for the building permit when he knew it was a non-buildable lot, he created his own hardship.
He did, but the county screwed up by giving
Right.
him the permit.
Right.
County should have denied the zoning permit
Yeah.
right then and there.
Right, it should have been, you know, that parcel should have been red flagged, and that's why I have mixed feelings on how much of an accident it was.
Yeah, right, thanks, Dwayne. Okay,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Mark is going to make our motion. Butch, was that you? Yep. All in favor?
So did Mike